Gold. 1 Chi 9. 26-28 The parallel account at 2 Chronicles 8. 18 reads 450 talents. Some scholars have suggested that this difference came about when letters of the alphabet served as figures. That an ancient copyist could have mistaken the Hebrew numeral letter Nun, representing 50, for the letter Kaf, standing for 20, or vice versa. However, the evidence is that all numbers in the Hebrew scriptures were spelt out, rather than represented by letters. A more probable explanation, therefore, is that both figures are correct and that the gross amount brought was 450 talents, of which 420 were clear gain. In 1946, as confirmation of these biblical accounts about imports of gold from Ophir, a potsherd was unearthed of Tel Aviv Yafo. Thereon was an inscription saying Ophir gold to Bet Horon, 30 shekels. Journal of Near Eastern Studies, 1951, Volume X, pages 265, 266. In addition to being a source of a vast quantity of gold, the land of Ophir was also a source of the algum trees and precious stones imported by Solomon. 1 Chi 10. 11. 2 Ch 9. 10 However, when King Jehoshaphat, 100 years later, attempted an expedition to that land, it ended in disaster, his Tarshish ships being wrecked at Ezion-Geber at the head of the Gulf of Aqaba. 1 Chi 22. 48. See Tarshish No. 4. Location. The precise location of Ophir cannot be determined today with certainty. Of the several suggestions in this regard, 3 are particularly favored: India, Arabia, and any Africa. All being within reach of a fleet operating out of Ezion-Geber at the head of the eastern arm of the Red Sea. In regard to India, all the goods brought back in the ships of Solomon and Hiram were available there. Josephus, Jerome, and the Septuagint could also be marshalled to give some support to Ophir's being in India. On the other hand, those maintaining that Ophir was in the region of any Africa or in the vicinity of Somalia, O textoi acute miritra longo. Ornaments 559 extended northward near Bethel to include this suggested site of Ophir. Ophrah. 1. Young one of the stags. A descendant of Judah through Meonotai. 1 Ch 4. 1, 14. 2, 3. Possibly, place of dust 2. A city of Benjamin. Jos 18. 21, 23 Its relative location may be deduced from the narrative about Israel's encounters with the Philistines during Saul's reign. From their camp at Michmash, bands of Philistine pillagers sallied forth in 3 different directions. One band turned to the road to Ophrah. Another went westward on the road to Beth Horon, while yet another travelled eastward on the road to the boundary that looks toward the valley of Zeboim. Since at least part of the Israelite army was encamped at Geba to the east of Michmash, apparently the Philistine band taking the road to Ophir went northward. Accordingly, this would place Ophir to the end of Michmash. 1 13. 16-18. Scholars often equate Ophir with the city called Ephraim. 2 13. 23. Jo 11. 54 and Ephraim. 2 Ch 13. 19. Thought to be represented by Tayyib Sea. 6 kilometers 3.5 million of Bethel. 3. The home of Gideon and the place where Jehovah's angel commissioned him to save Israel out of Midian's palm. JG 6. 11-32 After his victory over the enemy forces, Gideon made an ephod from the contributed spoils and exhibited it at Ophrah. Subsequently this ephod became an object of idolatrous veneration. JG 8. 24-27 Later, after Gideon's death and burial at Ophrah, his ambitious son Abimelech killed his brothers. 70 men, upon 1 stone, but Jotham the youngest was left over. JG 8. 32. 9. 5 Not counting Abimelech, Gideon had 70 sons. JG 8. 30, 31 Therefore, since Jotham escaped the slaughter, apparently Abimelech killed only 69 sons at Ophrah. Jotham's later words concerning the incident merely appear to point to Abimelech's intention to kill all 70 sons. JG 9. 18 However, as the Jewish commentary fittingly observes, It is still correct to speak in round numbers of 70 slain. Cincino Books of the Bible, edited by A. Cohen, London, 1950. Joshua and Judges, p. 234. This offer apparently lay W of the Jordan. It is tentatively identified with Eliphalifla, about 45 kilometers 28 mian of Shechem. Oreb 1. A prince of Midian. Oreb and Zeb were in the Midianite army of King Zebron's army and that Gideon and his 300 put to flight. The two princes were captured and put to death by men of Ephraim, and their heads were brought to Gideon. JG 7. 24, 25. 8. 3-5. PS 83. 11. 2. The rock where Midianite Prince Oreb was executed in that came to bear his name. Its location is unknown. JG 7. 25. Issa 10. 26. Oranoren.